Hello my friends, Thomas again with Alpha Concepts, and I've got lead poisoning and I got it from shooting. In this video we're going to talk all about how that happened. We're going to talk about precautions that you can take to prevent it from happening. We're going to talk about treatment if it happened to you. Talk about testing to find out if you've got lead poisoning, also the symptoms, everything. If you shoot as often as you should, this is something that you need to take seriously. If you're a firearm instructor, if you're a range employee, you definitely want to watch this video.
This video is sponsored by Alpha Concepts Firearm Training. Alpha Concepts offers firearm training for beginners or the advanced shooter. Sign up for a concealed carry training class today and learn from the best in Chicago. Check the training calendar at alphaconcepts.com or call 847-612-3952.
All right, so like I said, I got lead poisoning. My lead levels are something like 700% higher than the high side of normal. No amount of lead in your system is good, but the CDC does allow for a little bit. Obviously, in an industrialized environment, there's always going to be some exposure, some hazards, and so they do allow a little bit, which is something like a 3. And if I recall correctly, I'm up at like a 21 or a 23, so significantly higher than normal. I tested my water at home just to be sure it wasn't that, and the only other option where it could be coming from is the range, the shooting range. I have a high lead exposure from the shooting range because I didn't take precautions seriously. And I know what the precautions are. If you took our basic pistol class, if you took our concealed carry class, you know every single class we discussed the precautions on how to limit your lead exposure. I wasn't as religious about it as I should have been, and here we are today. So I'm going to go through the video. I'm going to talk about my personal experience. I want you to know on our website I did a ton of research for obvious reasons, and I put it all on the website. The link is in the description. I don't want to turn this into an hour-long video, so I'm going to give you the highlights of what you need to know, how you can get yourself checked, and how you can treat it. So let's start right there. Precautions. How can you prevent this from happening in the first place? Well, wash your hands. That's important. But let's do something to limit the lead from falling upon our skin. A long sleeve shirt that covers up a lot of our body, that helps a lot. So clothing, a hat, so it doesn't get in your hair. Obviously, of course, shooting glasses for obvious reasons, but that also prevents it from getting in your eyes as well. Don't chew on your fingers. Don't eat until you've thoroughly washed your hands. Use decontaminating lead wipes. They make some great wipes here. D-Lead is probably the #1 known name brand in the industry. Hops has their Lead Be Gone, which I've also used when we go to outdoor ranges. What I'm doing now is I'm using the lead wipes first, and then I'm washing my hands second. So I'm doing a two-step process. Washing my face. I didn't used to wash my face. I'm washing my face as well. So the precautions, very, very important. Changing your clothes. After you've left the range, change your clothes. So what I've been doing is, I have a long sleeve shirt on, but generally I'll wear some kind of overshirt, right? A long sleeve shirt over my clothes. So when I leave the range, I can take that long sleeve shirt off, and I can throw it in a bag in my car before I head home or before I head back to the classroom or whatever. So that way I'm not bringing that lead along with me. A spare change of shoes might not be a bad idea, especially if the range doesn't have those tacky floor mats that most of the newer ranges do have. So precaution, very, very important, right? And then thoroughly cleaning, like I said. Cleaning your hands, your face. Also, though, taking a shower at your first opportunity. Now, listen, if you go to the range and you shoot 50 rounds, 100 rounds, it's not as big of a deal, especially if it's an indoor range. They're dirtier than outdoor ranges, but it's not as big of a deal, as if you've spent hours on the range. Like, when I'm instructing, when we're doing like a concealed carry qualification, for example, I might have 10 shooters on the range, and I might be on the range for an hour or 90 minutes, and that is a lot of exposure, so I need to limit that. Washing my clothes. They make detergents, laundry detergents specifically for removing lead. So what I've begun doing is I have a separate hamper, and when I get home, I change my clothes, but my range clothes go immediately in that hamper so that they're not with my other clothes. But more importantly is so that I use the special soap on that hamper. And I don't use, the special soap on all my clothing because it does cost money. So we want to, treat the clothing that has been exposed to lead. Now, so that's how you can prevent it, right? Dress appropriately, clean appropriately. The chances that you're going to get lead poisoning significantly go down. I didn't do that. Here we are. How can you test for it? Well, I had not been to the doctor in approximately 5 years. Before COVID, I would get a checkup every other year. I never actually had my lead levels checked. But on a whim, I went this year, I got the checkup, and I said, hey, you know what? I'm spending a lot of time on the range. Why don't you go ahead and check my blood for lead? And the doctor was very shocked when they got the results. I think this is the first time they've seen lead poisoning. So I'm glad I did ask. I didn't even know what the symptoms were. It was totally just on a whim. So next time you get a checkup, you should be getting checkups every once in a while. Ask them to check your lead and see if it's high, especially if you're experiencing some of the symptoms. I can tell you right now, I have quite a few of the symptoms. Again, before I got checked, I didn't even know what the symptoms were. This is something I looked up after the fact. I'm going to tell you right now, everything hurts. I thought I was getting arthritis all over my entire body. I, in fact, asked the doctor to check when they were doing the blood work. I said, also check for arthritis because everything hurts. My wrist feels like I fell down and have a bruise. I don't, but that's how it feels constantly. My trigger finger knuckle hurts constantly, and when I shoot, it feels like there's glass in the knuckle, and that's not a good thing for someone who makes their living shooting. My hips are tight. The bottom of my feet hurt. It's just pain all over my body, and that's one of the symptoms of lead poisoning. Forgetfulness. I definitely have been noticing. I thought I was just getting old. I've definitely been noticing that I've been forgetting things. I've never been known for my memory, but I've never been as bad as I am now. I have to write down everything. I have to put every appointment in my calendar or I forget. So those are obviously issues, and there's things that we can't see, like it could break down tissues, it can cause other neurological effects, so again, on the website, I put all of the symptoms. Check that out. If you're having any of those symptoms and you shoot a lot, you might want to get that checked. So the funny thing was, again, I don't think the doctor and his nurse practitioner, I don't think they've ever seen lead poisoning before. They were freaking out, and I was at first. They called me up after I got the blood work. They said, some of your tests have come back abnormal. We need you to come back in. Can you come tonight? And I'm like, well, damn. So I said, no, I can't come tonight because I was actually teaching a class that day. But I did hop on the internet, and I did look at a few, valuable websites, shall we say, that had some good information, Mayo Clinic, CDC, and a few others that I linked on our website, so you can click over and check them out. And I looked at my lab work on the website, the doctor's website, so I saw what my number was. I was shocked as hell. But when I went to the CDC website and I went to a few of these other websites, I saw that actually it's not as bad as it really seems. 45 is when you qualify for medication, so I'm not there yet. At a 21 or a 23 or whatever it is, I'm not there yet. Thank God, I don't want to take these medications. Side effect may include death. No, thank you. So what am I doing? What can you do if you've got lead poisoning? I am not a medical professional. My doctor was like, limit your exposure to lead. Don't go around lead. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. They're like, well, you have to. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to. They obviously didn't know how to treat this. So based upon the recommendations that I saw on those websites, vitamin therapy, basically taking vitamins, which I was not doing, which, 45 years old, I probably should be doing. But calcium, very important. Iron, very important. Zinc, phosphorus, all of these vitamins help to fight off the lead. Calcium prevents it from getting into your bones and your teeth. Iron allows you, allegedly binds to the iron, and then it excretes when you use the washroom. Vitamin C is an antioxidant. So all of these things came up when I was doing the research, and now every morning I'm taking 5 vitamins. I feel like such an old person, but I do feel a little bit better. It seems like it's helping. It might be mental or not, but it definitely seems like it's helping. So right now I've got a doctor's appointment for next month. The half-life of lead, if you limit your exposure, you are no longer exposed to lead, it should reduce by half every month. So if I'm at like a 21 and I had no exposure to lead, which 3 hours from now, after I finish recording this video, I'm going to the range. So I will have exposure to lead. This weekend I have a concealed carry class. I will have exposure to lead. So I don't expect it to reduce by half even though I'm taking the medication, but the half-life is a month. So if I'm 23, or 21, let's just say 20 for easy math. If I'm 20, no exposure to lead, the next month I should be 10. And the month after that I should be 5. And the month after that I should be back down to the acceptable below 3. Is it going to take 3-4 months? I don't know. We'll see. I'm going for a blood test next month. If I'm anywhere near half, I will be very, very happy. If I'm not near half, then I'm going to have to figure something else out, whether that be, I don't know, wear a hazmat suit, wear a respirator, maybe find a different doctor who's more knowledgeable about lead poisoning. But I'm not there yet, right? We'll see. We'll see next month. I put together this video because I did not take lead poisoning seriously. I did not take the exposure to lead seriously, okay? And obviously that manifests a problem. I want to raise awareness to let you guys know that obviously this can happen to you. If you're shooting as often as you should, and I recommend everyone shoot at least once a month, if not more. If you're on an indoor range, they're dirtier than outdoor ranges, so obviously I've got to take it more seriously being in the Chicago area. I'm mostly, not always, but mostly on indoor ranges. It's usually just the advanced classes that we do outdoors. It's usually the qualifications and the private coaching and all of that stuff that I do indoors. So let's bottom line this for you. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, so take the necessary precautions. Use the wipes, use the soaps, make sure you cover up, change your clothes, all of that good stuff that we've been preaching for years and I neglected. So, like I said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, but if you find yourself in the situation, then you want to do the research, check out the vitamins, consult your doctor. You don't want to do something that'll screw up any of your medication or any other existing conditions you might have. So figure it out. And if you're super, super high, then, obviously there's the chelation therapy, which is an option for people who have severe cases. Don't let it get that far. Take the necessary precautions. I'm going to catch you guys on the next video. As always, everybody, be armed, be trained, and be alpha. And not having lead poisoning because you're a dumbass like me is part of being alpha.